There's been a lot going on in my head recently. I'm not particularly worried about anything, but I've been feeling the stress in my body. My mom bought a new desk and requested that I put it together, so I said let me take this opportunity and try to refocus and do something that I know how to do. Building stuff has always been fun, and I'm pretty good at figuring things out. Definitely put together my fair share of IKEA type units. It's funny to me that the technology of like how to piece things together and make things work has been around for a very, very long time. IKEA kind of did the best job at marketing it and commercializing it, and others kind of picked up the market from there. But it's weird how companies from pretty much out of nowhere, IKEA being Swedish I think, kind of make their name known across the world. And that's kind of what technology does. It enables paths to success and provides access to energy, almost like magic. Funny story though, when I was putting this together, there was a left configuration and a right configuration depending on which side you wanted the drawers to be set up on. And my mom had a desk that had the drawers on the left side. I think the lefty in me definitely preferred the left side by default, and I like spent some time thinking about it because I'm like I tried to put myself in a non-lefty's shoes, and I was like considering the environment and just like where it'd be set up and what it would be used for and stuff. And for some reason I still tended to the left even though I was trying not to like be biased. My mom was kind of busy, so I didn't want to bother her, but I asked her after the words, and I think the writing in here was saying to put it on the right side regardless of other things going on. So I think there's a point in there about trying to break out of stereotypes but still being sort of held captive by them, but I'm not sure. Either way, I switched it to the other side after I talked to her, so another random story, sort of. I've been more active on social media recently, for you know what reason. LinkedIn actually suggested me a profile from someone who had graduated from Vaughan, but they started and graduated after I had graduated. I like connecting with people, right? And it's always interesting to see kind of how people are thinking when you first reach out to them. And I feel like it didn't really click to me until this time that people kind of really don't know what to make of my attempts at a first message. And it was like super cool because it's like we were both being sort of professional when we were talking. And then we had like these long paragraphs of like what we felt about life and what we learned at Vaughan and how we understood life afterwards. And then the conversation sort of shifted and it became more real and more personal, which I think more of life and society needs to be more personal, because at the end of the day, like, we're all living out the same life here together, and there's no point in getting strung down with like being quote unquote professional. And like there's some level of dignity and respect obviously you have to carry, but I think what qualifies professional in today's world is just a mess. And it takes away from our ability to really connect with each other. So anytime I reach out to people, I always try to like let them know that we're real human beings, or rather spiritual beings living a human experience, and there's no need to put up a front about like, trying to seem like we all have it all put together when no one does. That reminds me of something else I was thinking about a few days ago, maybe like last week. I think growing up, me being the youngest and all, well, the youngest in the groups that I was around, I used to hear a lot of opinions from people about like either like what I should be doing or how people felt about what I was doing. And I realized recently that like when someone's kind of not criticizing but just like giving thoughts and advice about someone else's situation, they're being subjective to their own experience, and I don't think people realize that when they're talking, it's very hard to like take yourself out of your own shoes. And like there's the whole phrase of like being able to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. There's probably more to that, but I've noticed sort of as I'm older now and I'm seeing the people that told me stuff in the past and also just like seeing different people now. The people who told me certain things about my life back in the day feel differently about life now, or rather, their perspective leads them to either tell me different things or like give me different advice now. And just to give an example, right? A lot of people called me naive when I was young, in the sense that not only did I like give people the benefit of the doubt or like try to look for the best in people, but I quote unquote trusted them more than I should have in some people's opinions. And I think the way the world is now, right, people know it's dangerous out there and everyone sort of keeps to themselves mostly. But if you talk to them, right, you realize that they want to reach out, they want to have that community, they want to be able to feel safe around other people. And it's this balance of like being part of a community, having that ability to reach out while also having control of your own life and doing what you need to feel sane, if you will. But anyway, so getting to some of my predicaments, I think that one of the problems I'm having is that I get this energy to move, if you will. Like, I get this motivation to like do something in life, and then nothing else is happening if I talk to people and ask them like, give me advice on, or like, is there anything I should be considering while I'm like figuring out my own stuff? They're like, no, it's okay. Like, not that they really tell me what to do, but like they don't have anything tell me what not to do. And then I'm like, okay, I make my plans, and then all of a sudden life happens and there's a billion things going on all at once, right? So I'm trying to put all that in perspective, prioritize the things that are meaningful. As much as things are coming up, I'm trying to stick to my August 11th launch date. Not for the sake of being rigid, but I think that if I don't start, it'll never happen. And there's always going to be a reason to postpone it. So we're just going to try and make the most of like being able to fit things in between. I definitely don't have a good handle on managing all the things that are going on simultaneously, but we're making the most of it. And I think everyone needs to figure out what their tolerance is for what they can handle, what they need to handle, and what they should do if they want to change their life, you know? Speaking of which, it's 1:11 in the morning on July 20th right now. This video I recorded was on the 18th, the evening of the 18th. And in a few hours, I'm going to meet up with my buddy John to do an awesome segment, which I'm super looking forward to, which is you'll hear more about. I think one of the things I'm really missing in all of this is someone to keep me sane. And I've had different people at different points in my life kind of there to support me in ways that made sense for whatever it was that was going on. That's probably a lie. Not completely, but like it's not a lie, but there were definitely times where I didn't have anyone, and I kind of just suffered through things that probably could have been different. I don't know if that's a thing. We'll see if I cut this. Coming back to the point though, I've sort of taken on this huge task of traveling across America, connecting with people, and just being involved in the world, which one takes a lot of energy, but two takes a lot of emotional energy. Doesn't really capture all of it, but like emotional energy and mental energy and just energy in general. And I'm doing what I can to kind of recharge on my own. And when I'm talking to people, it's super awesome in terms of like I can resonate and vibrate at the frequencies and energy levels that other people are at. But specifically, like with this trip and with a lot of the things that relate to it, it's more of a momentary thing. So that connection that I form with people has the potential for so much, but it's just limited a bit, and I'm trying to make sense of that too. It's an exciting month ahead, and definitely an exciting year ahead. And not that I have to remind myself, but I have to remind myself that I'm not trying to solve the world's problems. And this learning experience is mostly to have fun and help people. And there really isn't any pressure from anywhere, and there shouldn't be either. One of the things that goes into remaining sane through all of this, and not just this, just life in general, is remembering the past, not being bogged down by the past, looking to the future, but not anticipating anything, and being present in the moment with everyone and everything that's happening. And balancing those three things is a lot. One, to keep in your head, and then two, to physically interact with. Memories from the past can manifest physically. Stress and anxiety can also manifest positively, physically, to encourage and inspire you, remember all the good times, and create more. The worries of the future can stress you out, but the possibilities for a brighter, better future counters that as well. And then everything going on in the present, right? You don't have control on what's happening, but you can control how you react to it. I think the expectations for everyone individually in society has gone out of hand. And with all of this technology that's being created to quote unquote help people, and it frees up people's mental and physical energy to do higher level abstractions of thinking and betterment of themselves, creative works and stuff like that. It's a double-edged sword, because if the technology is not implemented effectively, it doesn't do what it's intended to do. And it can actively work to hold people back, even when it's doing stuff to give people power. There's this idea that I heard recently in a TED Talk, and I'll probably have an overlay and link it in the description below. But conversations are like links. I was having this conversation with someone a few months ago, maybe even last year, about like, what is the point of talking to people? Like, why are we so interested in talking in general? And the person was trying to convince me of everyone has a motive, if you will, and if you don't have something that you're looking for while you're talking to someone, like, the conversation wouldn't happen. And that didn't really sit well with me. And I think after hearing this quote about conversations being links, it kind of clicked for me. And the whole idea of conversations being links, conversations themselves don't have any motive in it of itself. It's a medium through which energy is transmitted. There's so many thoughts and ideas around culture, conversations, consciousness, connecting with people, knowing what you want, knowing who you are, knowing where you want to be, knowing who you want to be. I'm on a pursuit to find the truth, and part of me knows that I know the truth already, and it's a bit selfish for me to try and make the world a better place as little as I can. I just see the potential, the energy in the universe, the potential in us as living beings, and the potential for the infinite to be infinite. So wish me luck as I make my final preparations, and you might get a few more updates from me sporadically, but looking forward to talking with you all, learning from you, and seeing if I could run for president in between.